Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the continuation of Challenge 5. We'll get right back into it with Lotus trying to retrieve his backpack after dying in this room already once. Now, there's a torch in the backpack that he's trying to get back. Let's see what happens. That'll be Lotus's 43rd death. Climbing up this ladder here, he's looking down into the pit below. He just died there. Is he really thinking of going back in there? It appears he's decided to move on to a different room and not risk any more lives to get one more torch back. Honestly, a fair decision. We're gonna swap over to Glass Sandwich. Lotus already has been in this room too. Just as another reminder, Whiskey has God mode during the duration of this challenge because of the Iron Knuckle perk that she played. That means she can't be killed at all. Realizing there's no gear left inside to be collected, he's gonna dip out and leave. Jumping in on board with Whiskey, it seems Whiskey has come across a new room. There are two signs in front of her, telling her to break the wall. Whiskey is just hammering away at this wall. What will be hiding behind it?
Oh, nice. There's a mine here.
Oh, wow. Looks like a trap is hiding behind there. It is amazing for Whiskey, though, that she had God mode enabled. Whiskey's still digging away. Could there be an item hidden away somewhere? She's taking her time to destroy every single wall there, and it was well rewarded, giving her another torch. Checking back in on Lotus. Seems like Lotus wants to go down this ladder. Placing down a bedroll and getting to work, it looks like this is some sort of platform puzzle type thing. Not really too sure. We'll just have to see how Lotus does. Oh, and Lotus immediately gets electrocuted. Lotus is just walking through the wires. Very low on health, but he made it through on the brink of life. There we go, though. Finally, Lotus decides to remove the torch from his backpack and put it into his tool belt. All he has to do now is just heal and go through the wires again, and he should make it out alive. Or he could choose not to do any of that and just drop to his death. Making that 44 total deaths. At least he got the torch. Checking back in on Glass Sandwich. It appears Glass Sandwich has stumbled upon another platform section. Now, Lotus was the one to discover this room first, but he decided not to risk it, so this is still an active room with a torch inside the chest. I'm curious if he's stopping to see if, it was already looted, or if he wants to figure out where other players have been. Looks like he's really thinking this over. Does he want to still try and go for that box? Even though he sees the bedroll. And he's jumping in. Making his way through the platforming section right now, hopping on top of these pillars. He has to be very careful, or he could become severely injured from those little spikes. A little bit of hesitancy here, and that's a fall, but managed to stay alive. Good for Glass. Going in for the second jump, and he nails it, with only one final jump to go before reaching the box. And with that, Glass Sandwich has acquired another torch. Fantastic job, Glass. Glass is still keeping his torches in his backpack. If he dies, he'll need to retrieve his backpack in order to get his torches back. If he were to just put them in his tool belt, he wouldn't need to worry about that. Checking in on Whiskey, it appears she's completely lost, trying to find her way around. I can only imagine how easy it would be to get lost in a 3D maze of this caliber. It looks frustrating, to say the least. The cube certainly seems a lot bigger on the inside than it does on the outside.
I feel like I'm going in circles, most likely.
That's because you kind of are, Whiskey. You've been opening up the same doors and going through them. It's not unsurprising you're getting lost. There are very few mile markers or anything like that to base your location off of. This is a big maze. Whiskey continues to stumble from door to door, corridor to corridor, hoping to find another torch. Swapping back over to glass now. Looks like Glass has actually stumbled upon another platforming section. While there's no items to collect, Glass needs to be very careful not to fall off the rail, otherwise he might land on a mine. Glass navigated that with ease. But now, a new challenge in front of him. Red and yellow squares abound. This looks dangerous. Glass is trying to place down a bedroll. Oh! And he steps on an explosive block. Glass has to be very careful here. Making that jump over to the ladder might be his saving grace.
Well, I'm in a very odd room. It's ketchup and mustard floor. And it doesn't like me.
But then he goes and lands on another ketchup square. That explosion brings him up to death 16. And that is exactly what I was worried about. Glass has just died, and now he's lost all of his torches. Now, lucky for him, the backpack is retrievable, but he didn't place down a bedroll anywhere near here. So he's gonna have to go and find his way back. After a few minutes of stumbling about, Whiskey has managed to find another room.
What is it?
This room almost reminds me of Jenga. Whiskey is gonna have to do some tricky jumps to make it up to the top and collect the torch. Once again, having God mode is a huge advantage for her, because this means she can really take her time and get to the top without any worries. Trying to find out which way to jump and which platform to land on can be tricky all on its own. But so far, Whiskey seems to be doing a great job. Whiskey getting closer and closer to the top of the puzzle.
Wow, there's so much thinking into this puzzle.
And with that, Whiskey grabs torch number 7. Glass Sandwich coming back into the room he died in previously. I think he's learning how this room works. If you land on a red square, it'll blow up. Glass has to be careful to land on a yellow square in order to make it out. But luckily, he's able to make the jump over from the ladder and collect his gear again. But he's still keeping the torches in his backpack. Will history repeat itself? That was an absolutely dangerous room.
Woohoo! Got my bag.
Moving forward, it looks like Glass has stumbled upon a new room. Now, Lotus has already done this room and got the torch, but if Glass wants to find that out, he's gonna have to risk it. Choose a door. Which one will Glass pick? He's jumping around to see if there's any traps hidden behind, but the only way to know for sure is to walk through. He could just walk away, as there's plenty of undiscovered rooms. Seems like Glass is more interested in the right door, but we'll see how this pans out as he walks through. Oh no, he's trapped. There's no way to get out but to step on the trigger plate. Looks like it didn't pan out well for him. And with that, there goes another death for Glass Sandwich. And of course, his torches. But he might still be able to get his bag back. Perfect. He's got his items, including his 4 torches back, and he's in second place again. But, just like last time, seems he's placing the torches in his backpack, and not the tool belt. Perhaps you'll need a third lesson to learn. I guess Glass now knows to use the left door. Whatever goodies were hidden behind door number 2 were already grabbed.
I thought you were gonna trick me twice there.
Glass Sandwich moves his way up and goes to find another room. Oh, flipping the door switch and then climbing up the ladder was such an intelligent move. Avoiding that trap with ease. But unfortunately, it seems like he wants to go for it anyways. Grabbing his gear again, he's gonna move on away from this hellhole. This cube is a death trap. The more I think about it, the more I can just appreciate Whiskey's choice in playing the perk for this particular challenge. And giving God mode is a surefire way to make sure you come out on top. It looks like she predicted it well without knowing exactly what was inside. Lotus, in the meantime, appears to have found another challenge room. Going into this room, he immediately gets shot and is down to 4 HP. Now, Whiskey's already discovered this room and fearlessly walked through the bullets and got the torch. Lotus, on the other hand, will not have that luxury and needs to be extra careful, as this room is particularly dangerous. Lotus is trying to work out exactly which turret is shooting him. First, he's got to bandage up for sure. Just continuing to get hammered by these turrets. Just unfortunate for Lotus. Placing a bedroll was definitely a smart move, but rushing in was not. That marks the 45th death from Lotus. This time, though, with a little bit of extra health, he's able to rush in and check the box. But unfortunately, the loot inside was already grabbed. And now the challenge becomes trying to get his gear. Ah, how unfortunate. And just like that, Lotus takes his 46th death. Oh, but look at this. Lotus happens upon another room, with 2 signs marked "Break Me." Shooting open the wall reveals a trapdoor below. But where does it lead? Oh, nearly to Lotus's death. With a running dash, Lotus manages to make it out and into the box, grabbing yet another torch. Interesting decision coming out here. Lotus just removed his torches from his tool belt and he's put them into his backpack. I guess he figures some items are worth more than winning the challenge. Or maybe he's just really sure he won't die again. Regardless, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Now the issue becomes waiting out the darts. Luckily for Lotus, the darts didn't do that much damage, and he was able to make it out without much of a hassle. But now, here's a new room for Lotus. We've seen already these red squares mean business, so Lotus has to be very careful to only step on yellow squares. But luckily, it seems like he's able to grab that torch without too much of an issue. It's shocking he didn't land on a landmine. suppose the landmines wanted him dead anyways, because that's 47 deaths for Lotus. He's just lost his torches, and if I had to guess, it was probably because of the server lagging a little bit. It seemed like he was having a couple technical issues there. It was almost like he walked on the plates, but they didn't explode, and then suddenly they all go off. Either way, the death counts, and he's gonna have to go and get his torches back. Meanwhile, Glass Sandwich stumbles upon a new room himself. There's a puzzle in front of him, with y equaling the total number of squares. 5 times y equals what? Glass Sandwich is probably trying to figure out exactly what constitutes a square. Is it the whole thing? Does he have to add more of them, or is it the individual squares it's talking about? Let's see if he gets the answer right. 125 was not it. Nor was 129. We'll leave him as he continues to figure out the question. Look at this. Lotus has just walked right into the correct area. The way this room works is that if you come from the other side of the glass, you'll have to solve a puzzle to get inside here. Or simply come from the side Lotus just did. It seems like he got lucky, and he can just open the chest and collect the torch. But what is he doing? Is he completely ignoring the chest? He must not have noticed it. There's no going back now. I mean, the door only opens from one side. Looks like he completely missed out. What a shame. I think Glass Sandwich is starting to understand exactly what the question is asking. Let's see if he gets it this time. Unfortunately not. This is really stumping Glass Sandwich. At this point, it seems like frustration is kicking in. He's just typing in any number that comes to mind. We'll check back in on Glass Sandwich in just a minute. Checking back in on Whiskey. Oh, but look at this. Whiskey seems to have found Glass Sandwich. And the same question. Will Whiskey get the question right before Glass Sandwich? It appears that she's going to stay. Looks like the race is on between them to see who can solve the puzzle first. Could Whiskey steal Sandwich's torch away from him? Let's see what happens here. Nope. Whiskey is also a little confused on what this question is asking. Both of them seem to be completely stumped. And Glass Sandwich is trying the opposite end of the equation now. Is it less squares? 50 surely wasn't it. Looks like it's time for Whiskey to give it another go. Will Whiskey get it right? Nope, 265 was not the right answer. Checking in on Glass Sandwich, will he get the question right? He did! 90 was indeed the correct answer. After some trial and error, Glass takes the win here. And now he has a 5th torch, slowly catching up to Whiskey.
Did you get it, Glass?
I got it.
With that, Whiskey is gonna have to move on.
Something sounds like a spaceship.
It seems like Whiskey's discovered what that spaceship sound is.
Nice. This is my kind of challenge.
Luckily for Whiskey, having God mode is so clutch here. There we go, Whiskey. On your 8th torch. Only 2 away from the win now. This would have been a very tough challenge for anybody else, but since she has God mode, she's able to just walk through these traps and the blades with no issue. Meanwhile, checking back in on Lotus, he's now down to 0 torches. Will he be able to grab one here? Seems like Lotus is trying to understand exactly what this challenge is. It's obviously some sort of platforming thing, but with 2 dartboards and then signs above that say instant and 1 second delay, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. Looks like jumping onto the ladder was the best decision for him. By jumping towards the ladder, he's able to grab another torch. Now, this time he's put the torch in his tool belt again. But the saddest part about all of this is that he would have been on his 9th torch and would have been in 1st place if he had just simply kept the torches in his tool belt from the start. It's heartbreaking to see him fall so far behind, simply due to such a small error. But now to get out is the real problem. Oh no. That dart has sent him back into the water. He's gonna have to try and jump. Not the cleanest exit, but he makes it out alive and with his torch. And that's what matters most. After traveling around for a little bit, Lotus has stumbled upon another challenge. Glass has already died twice in this room. From a glance, it's obvious the chest is unreachable. Lotus should really just move on. and he lands into the spike pit. Marking his 48th death, and his 10th in this challenge. Undeterred though, Lotus is going right back in. And Lotus once again falls into the pit.
There's no way to get to this thing. The only person that can get into it is Glass.
Lotus is giving up, realizing there's no way across. Although, I think he was a little mistaken. Glass Sandwich doesn't have the god trait, that's Whiskey. Even then, I don't know if Whiskey would be able to grab it. It's pretty high up in the air, and there's no platform up there anymore for her to grab it. Checking back in on Glass. A bunch of trigger plates lay on the ground. I assume if he lands on one, it's going to be bad news. Look at all that wiring. This room couldn't have been easy to build. It has no chest though. This room is just a trap. If Glass wants to go to the other side, he's going to have to stay on the yellow area to avoid touching any of the trigger plates. With some careful jumping though, Glass Sandwich is able to make it through and down the ladder. And Lotus finds himself in yet another room. The key here is going to be climbing on ladder to ladder, jumping across to reach the box above. Placing down a bedroll is very smart, because I can imagine a lot of deaths coming for Lotus this round. This seems really tricky. Going for the jump here. And he's not able to stick the landing. Nothing's worse than the slow, painful death at the spike pit. At least he put the bedroll down so he can spawn back in and try again. Second time seems to be a charm, and he's making good progress now. Another component of this challenge is understanding if it's good to climb upwards or down. There are various ladders around which you could try to make an alternate route out of, but is it worth it? I have to hand it to Lotus. He's doing pretty well for this challenge. I was expecting a lot more falls into the death pit. And right as I say that, misfortune abound for Lotus. Over 50 deaths now. Swapping back over to Glass now. Now, Whiskey's already tried this room, but she was unable to reach door number 3. To start the challenge, he needs to land on the trigger plate. That'll open up the doors and let him continue on. With his higher jumping ability, Glass might be able to complete this obstacle. And once he makes it to door 1, he could put his bedroll down in case something happens. Then he wouldn't have to start over the whole challenge. Going for try number 3 here, making his way up the L curve into door 1 with no problem. Going for door 2 now, but it looks like the darts knock him off just before he's able to make it into door 2. Going for another attempt here. This time worked like a charm.
Can't do it that way.
And Glass Sandwich is going for attempt number 5. And he's able to make it in right before the door shuts. Amazing job. Now this last part seems kind of tricky. Those blades do look like they mean business. It seems like he's actually taking some time to experiment and figure out exactly how this part works. But incredibly, he's actually able to make it over the blades with no problems. And up past door 3 to grab the torch inside. Very good work from Glass. For not having God mode, Glass is actually doing really well in this challenge, with 6 torches collected.
Does this shut itself? Never mind.
Oh? Looks like going through those corridors, Glass has found another person. Lotus.
Oh!
A new puzzle stands before Glass Sandwich. Seems like he's taking a moment to really analyze the situation and understand the problem. How will Glass be able to handle this one? Right as he's trying to answer this question, though, Lotus stumbles in too through the door. Could he be trying to steal Glass Sandwich's box? With y equaling the total number of blocks and ramps in this solid tower, what is 5 times y? This is a pretty tricky question. And once again, the players are going to do some trial and error to figure out exactly how many this is referring to. But luckily, Glass Sandwich is able to get the question right and enter. I love how he rushes in immediately and shuts the door behind, in case Lotus tries to steal it from him. With that problem solved, though, that marks torch number 7, only one away from Whiskey. Who's just stumbled upon a new room. Wow, what an incredible room to have God mode for.
What is this room? I like it.
With darts shooting from the ceiling, anybody else would have died here.
Let it rain.
With that torch grab, Whiskey walks up a ladder into the same room that Glass Sandwich just finished up.
Did you get this one, Glass? Probably did.
Checking back in on Lotus, he is completely out of the running here. With only one torch collected, there's basically no way for Lotus to catch up at this point. But as Lotus continues to travel on in the maze, it seems he stumbles upon some sort of riddle. Which number, when written as a word, makes this true? Obviously, there are exactly blank E's in this sentence. Seems like all Lotus has to do is type in the number of E's in the sentence. But 8 is not the proper answer. Nor is 12. By typing in 9, Lotus is able to grab all the gear inside and his second torch of the challenge. Checking on Glass. It seems like Glass Sandwich is working out another puzzle. There are various numbers highlighted on the wall. After a bit of thinking it over, looks like Glass Sandwich gets that right and grabs himself another torch. Checking back in on Whiskey. Going through that door, it looks like she stumbled upon another puzzle. This is the same room that Lotus already discovered, but walked right past the chest without noticing. It looks like Whiskey's coming through a different door, so she's gonna have to figure out the puzzle to get the chest. A sign above reads 7 blank to blank. Now obviously we're all thinking 7 Days to Die, the name of the game, but it looks like that's not the correct answer. Even other variations don't seem to be working. But it looks like she just forgot to write out the full name. And by figuring out the answer, she's got her 10 torches. And now she can finally start looking for the exit. However, it won't be so easy to find.
I feel like somebody already solved that one.
Now, at this point, with 10 torches, she doesn't need to do any more puzzles, so I don't understand why she's bothering to waste time. Perhaps it's curiosity, or maybe she wants to grab the items inside of the chest. But either way, Glass is not far behind, and I would leave the cube now if I was her. She's solved the puzzle, and she's taking all of the items but the torch, meaning this room is still active. Nicely done on solving this puzzle. All it is now for Whiskey is a race to the exit, before Glass Sandwich has an opportunity to grab the last 2 torches he needs. Meanwhile, Glass Sandwich is storming through these hallways, trying to find as quickly as possible another challenge room to get the last 2 torches he needs to succeed. Navigating these dangerous railways, Glass Sandwich is making his way up to the very top, where a torch could be waiting. This is a little dangerous. Taking some time to heal up before this last jump. I like to see the hesitation from Glass here, making sure that all of these jumps are lined up properly.
That's all you put in this? You could have put a perk in there.
Glass Sandwich now has his 9th torch, only one behind Whiskey. Meanwhile, Whiskey is still looking for the exit. This place is a giant maze, so finding it can't be easy. Getting down now might be the real hassle, but he's able to do it with no problem. Checking back in on Lotus now. He seems to have found another challenge room. It seems like he's got to go through this small obstacle course. Spinning blades in the bottom of a pit, with just some simple platforms in front of him to make a jump over to a torch. Could these be falling platforms, though? Would they break under his weight? We'll have to wait and see what happens. Placing down a bedroll, Lotus is taking some time to be cautious, analyzing the situation. It seems he's figured out, though, that the blades only spin based on his movement. Oh, unfortunately with that jump, he nearly dies there, though. Oh dear. It may actually be over for Lotus, I don't know. He's trapped in the water. The only way out now is death. Just give in, Lotus. This life has already been claimed by the cube. I think Lotus may just have to accept defeat and take his medicine. Lotus realizes there's no way out. He just has to take a death here. Spawning back in, will Lotus decide to go for another torch again? I almost feel like at this point, with how far ahead Whiskey and Glass are, just try to conserve your lives at this point, in my opinion. But Lotus is going for it anyways. Making a risky jump, he manages to grab his third torch. In order to get out, though, Lotus is going to have to do another tricky jump. If he takes too long, he'll fall back into the water pit with the blades. And that is exactly what happens. Lotus is desperately trying to get out by jumping up above the ridge of the water. But it's not enough. There's no way out other than death. And with that is his 15th death in this challenge. I gotta wonder what's going through Lotus's head. Now, if we check back in with Glass Sandwich, it looks like he's found himself in the same room Whiskey was just in. Glass is only one torch behind Whiskey, and we know she left the torch in the chest. So, if he can get this, he might have time to win this, as she's still looking around for the exit. Trying a few answers anyways. And he grabs it. Fantastic. Glass has all 10 torches now. At this point, it's just a matter of who finds the exit first. Looks like Glass has found another chest. It's completely impossible to get to this chest from this side. He would need to come in from below in order to access the ladder. But since he already has his 10 torches, he really shouldn't bother with it. If we hop over to Lotus, seems like Lotus right now is in some sort of maze. Whiskey is still looking for the exit. There it is. There is the exit.
I'm here.
The admin will now give Whiskey the password to the door. It's locked in order to prevent the players from leaving the area early or accidentally falling to their deaths. So the admin will first confirm her 10 torches and give her the passcode.
I found you!
You found me.
At this point, all it is a matter of dropping down into the pool of water.
I'm doing it.
Do it!
Wait.
Making the jump into the water, Whiskey survives.
Can somebody die here? I think it's not deep enough.
Alright, I'm gonna do it with you. Here I go.
Do it.
Lotus is jumping in too.
Oh!
You made it.
Lotus can't win this challenge, despite deciding to make the drop. If he didn't land in the narrow pool of water, it would have been another certain death, but he's managed to do it. And with that, Lotus and Whiskey set out towards the end of the challenge, and all that's left to do is have Whiskey place down the 10 torches necessary to win. And there it is. Whiskey has won the mega challenge that was the cube. And getting 10 levels for her character, she played the absolute perfect perk when it mattered the most, and it kept her safe throughout the very hard challenge ahead of her. Very well done, Whiskey, and congratulations. As for Lotus, it's gotta be completely frustrating knowing that he was first to actually complete 10 rooms with torches. Especially also seeing how he found the exit, but not putting his torches in his tool belt was absolutely his downfall. This could have been a win for Lotus had he made just that one simple step. As for Glass Sandwich, he got second place.
I can just jump right over your bullets.
Jump over my bullets.
What do you expect from a professional 7 days to die gamer? Expect nothing less.
With the challenge over, it's time for Whiskey, the winner, to choose the next outcast. So let's listen to the players and see who she chooses.
Because I have something I think you'll really want.
You have to take into account what's going to help you more, one item or not dying a bunch. You get to choose whether you want to be threatened with a good time or a bad time.
I'm looking to just kill Glass, sacrifice myself for you.
Let me think.
Also, I have a gift for you if you decide to kick Lotus. It looks like this.
It looks like that. Does it come purple?
It's a giant wine bottle opener.
Wine bottle. I'll keep.
Don't make me jump off this thing. Break a leg.
You just jumped from very high up.
Whiskey.
There we go.
Whiskey, you can't say no to this. Hold on.
What am I supposed to look at?
Don't you really?
Did you hear that?
What did she say? It's working! Lotus!
Oh.
I'm sorry, Lotus. I'm gonna have to choose Glass.
Did you hear her?
I don't know what she said, but that's so cute.
Alright, you got it, baby.
She said, don't get rid of me.
Oh.
Oh, how can I resist that?
Oh,
No!
there we go. Bye forever, whiskey.
Thank you.
How could I have said no to that, Lotus? You can't blame me for this one.
I trust you, whiskey. Trust your decisions. I don't get some of them, but I get this one.
Yeah.
One game.
How old is she?
She'll be 4 in a month.
Yeah.
So cute.
I don't know I don't know why she's putting so much trust in this being buddy with Glass when he's the one she needs to take out.
Since I'm not really too much of a killer, but they're fighting each other, it's a chance for them to be able to fight it off. In the meantime, me being with Glass will give me a chance to actually track his steps.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes episode 5, and oh boy, what a challenge that was. I absolutely loved seeing all of the traps and puzzles, and I hope you did too. Clearly, the Owl put a lot of effort into building everything we just saw, and if I had to guess, I'd say the players probably had a ton of fun on this one. So as we can see from the latest scores, the Cube managed to get 20 kills out of just 2 players, 5 from Glass Sandwich, and a whopping 15 kills on Lotus. Now, 5 deaths on Glass does help Whiskey, as just from this challenge alone, she is inching her way closer to him, and now only has 8 deaths more than him. There are still 5 challenges to go, so taking the lead is still easily within reach for her, especially since she still has 9 perks that she can use. Whiskey is in a very powerful position right now, and hopefully she can maintain this momentum. So, needless to say, things are starting to look very good for Whiskey. I can't even remember the last time Glass won a challenge. Lotus was the one who won challenge 4. Glass Sandwich really needs to step up his game if he's going to hold on to his lead, as clearly Lotus will not hesitate to sacrifice his own life just to kill Glass, doing whatever he can to help Whiskey. Lotus's unpredictability and reckless attacks could end up helping Whiskey significantly. He has 2 very powerful perks, so I think he's waiting for a good time to strike. Now, despite having 53 deaths currently, the 2 perks that he has are powerful enough to somewhat even the playing field. So he's still in this game for now. He just needs to focus on staying alive. I'm eager to see what happens next. And with that, I'm gonna say goodbye to all of you. I hope to see you all in episode 6. Thank you so much for watching.